We can start the recording again already, but I want to encourage you this morning with this message. Today I'm going to show you the fastest way that you can completely change your life. Not a trick question, very practical message this morning. And at the same time, you're going to please God, hands down, guaranteed, if you implement what I'm going to share this morning. Guaranteed. And this is not a trick thing. This is really the true thing. Really, if you do this, you change your life. You can change your life overnight. I know a man who knew absolutely nothing about Forex. Has anybody heard of Forex before? Forex trading, it's like trading currencies, one currency against another. They use points. It's a point system. It's not like stocks. You can make I can explain it to you later, but you can make money if the market goes up, or you can make money if the market goes down. That's very different than stocks. Takes an awful lot of discipline, a tremendous amount of discipline to trade Forex, because you're constantly thinking, well, what if or fear of missing out, and you have to follow a specific strategy. You find a strategy that works for you. Well, I know this man who he went to school to be trained, was thoroughly equipped, thoroughly trained, had all the tools that he needed to be successful. And again, having all the tools, you could go out and buy Snap-on tools to be a mechanic. Get them all the wonderful tools. But if you don't use them, they're not going to help you be a good mechanic. You're not even going to be a mechanic. You just have all the tools. I got to tell you this. I have an Apple Pencil, okay? Maybe I've shared this before, but I got to tell you this. I had an Apple Pencil, and I thought, oh my gosh, this thing does everything. It's amazing what you can do. Look at the commercials. Look what they're doing. They're just going, look what they're whipping up here. I'm going to be awesome. I went and got myself an Apple Pencil, $129. And I got it, and I'm like, this thing's broken. What's wrong with this thing? It doesn't work. There's no... It's like a crayon. Just because you have the tools doesn't make you an expert.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, this gentleman I knew had all the tools. And he applied the tools, and he applied wisdom, and he gained discipline over time, and he had made a lot of mistakes, but he learned from every mistake that he made. And every day, he told himself, I am going to be an awesome trader, and I'm going to make a living from this. Full time, I'm going to make a living from this. Well, it didn't happen overnight. And again, he made a lot of mistakes. And every single trade that he took involved risk. Is it going to hit? Is it not going to hit? And sometimes it didn't hit, and other times it did. But over time, and through discipline, and having used the tools that he had, and the strategy that he had, and employing that strategy over time, confident that he would become a successful trader, he began to think differently, going for just a few points every day. Instead of trying to go for everything all at once, he went just for a little bit every day. It's kind of like a waterfall, Niagara Falls. It's always flowing. The market's always moving one direction or the other. And he took, it's instead of, well, I'm going to take everything I can and try to make everything at once. He went each day, took a little cup in the waterfall, and took it out. I'm content with what I have. And he went home and he lived on it. Come back the next day, took his little tin cup, put it in the waterfall. He's got his water. He comes every single day. Mind you, the people who trade thinking that they're going to make a boatload of money overnight, they always lose. Well, this guy did it. He told himself, I'm going to do this, and he believed, I'm going to make a living from this. And he took what God had placed in his hand. He stewarded it well, and now he does make a full-time income trading Forex because he took risk. He believed that he was able and capable of doing this, and he believed in himself, and he told himself, I'm going to do this. And he took what what God put in his hand, he stewarded it well, and he now makes a full-time income with trading Forex. Turn with me, if you will, in your Bibles. One of my favorite parables of all time, Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, and we're going to read all the way through 30. Chapter 25, 14 through 30. Actually, I have the wrong reference here. I wrote it down wrong. I apologize. That's not the right reference. I have the right text, but that's the wrong reference. Okay. For it is just like a man to go about on a journey, and he called his own servants and trusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, and to another 2 talents, and to another 1 talent, depending on each one's ability. Then he went on a journey, and immediately the man who had received 5 talents went, put them to work, and earned 5 more. In the same way, the man who with 2 earned 2 more. But the man who had received 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 talents approached, presented 5 more talents, and said, Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I've earned 5 more talents. And his master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things, and I will put you in charge of many things. Share in your master's joy. The man with 2 talents also approached and said, Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I've earned 2 more talents. And his master said to him, Well done, look at you. That's me. Good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things, and I will put you in charge of many things. Share in your master's joy. The man who had received 1 talent also approached and said, Master, I know you. You're a harsh man, reaping what you haven't sown and gathering where you haven't scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went off and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours. And his master replied to him, You evil, lazy servant. If you knew that I reap where I haven't sown and gather where I haven't scattered, then you should have deposited my money with the bankers, and I would have received my money back with interest when I returned. So take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have more than enough. But the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. And throw this good-for-nothing servant into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus told this parable to his disciples privately on the Mount of Olives just days before he was crucified. And he answered their questions about the temple's destruction and the signs of his return, and the parable prepared them for his departure and the long wait of his second to everything that he had taught them, rather than be idle and fearful. And the point of this parable was to convey that those who boldly invest and multiply what was given to them would be rewarded, while the fearful servant who buried his money was condemned. And Jesus expects us, his followers, to steward what he has entrusted us with. The first point I want to make here today is that your words shape what you believe. Your words shape what you believe. I once knew this guy, super nice guy, but he constantly spoke negativity over himself. It happened so often that you would hear things come out of his mouth that you'd be like, you're such a dummy, you idiot. And he's talking to himself. He's not talking to anybody else. He's talking to himself. You big dumbhead. You're such a loser. Can you guess what he believed about himself?
Not much.
He believed he was an idiot, a dummy, a loser, worthless, a nobody, would never amount to anything. Why? Because he told himself these very things. This grown man genuinely thought that he wasn't capable of learning new things, and as a result, he didn't. Without realizing it, he had put a cap on his own learning potential simply because he kept telling himself that he was a dummy, an idiot, and a loser. God hears every word that you speak over yourself. Hold on. God hears every word that you speak to yourself, even the ones you think when you call yourself a dummy. Even those ones that you think in your head, even if you don't say them, you think it in your head. But God thinks the world of you. He loves you. And just like any good father that would hear his child mumble the words, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm such a loser, it saddens the heart of the father when he hears you say these very same things. It grieves his spirit. It grieves the Holy Spirit. Of course, he wants to restore your thinking. He wants to help you get your thoughts back in line with his thinking, how he thinks about you, so that you can live from his heart where you speak life over yourself. Did you know that you speak to yourself more than anyone else does? What? Yeah. But you don't know who I live with. Yeah, but I know who you rehearse in your mind. No one influences you more than you do. Wait a minute. No one influences you more than you do. How can I possibly say that? Well, you'll recall just off the top of my head the story of Corrie ten Boom. Is that right? Corrie ten Boom? In prison in World War II, she had her sister was in a cell full of lice. Her sister died. She could have been completely full of bitterness. She chose to love. See, she chose to love. Joseph in Genesis was thrown in prison for a rape he did not commit. Was there for years, could have chosen to become bitter, but he chose not to. He chose to speak life over himself. What's the evidence of that? Because when he came out, he was a different man, and it wasn't a bad man. He was a good man, full of wisdom, full of humility. yourself, what you believe about God, is determined by what you say over yourself, what you speak over yourself, what you believe about yourself. That means that the loudest voice in your life is yours. Take some ownership for a second, just for a moment. Don't say, but you don't know who I live, but I know who you rehearse. Tell me you don't. If you're the person that says, but you don't know who I live with, you're telling me you rehearse the voice of the one that you're telling me about. Whatever you consistently speak to yourself will shape your thoughts, define your identity, and either build or break your confidence. That's the power of speaking words of life over yourself. That's the power of words. What you speak has the power to either reinforce your identity or slowly dismantle it. One word at a time. And every single word matters.
Yes.
Your words reveal who you believe. The words you speak to yourself either are what God thinks about you or what the devil thinks about you. Black and white. I'm that kind of guy. I like to think black and white. I think this way or I think this way. It's really simple for me. It's really hard for me to think here. What you speak over yourself determines what you are willing to trust God for. You'll become what you believe, so start speaking life over yourself. I want to encourage you this morning to pay attention to what you say inside your head. And if it does not align with the heart of the Father, what His Word says about you, know that you are grieving the Spirit. I didn't do anything. If you're not speaking life over yourself, picture the Father. What are you doing? Why are you saying that? No, don't say that. I think this of you. Stop letting fear have the last word and start speaking what He believes about you. It will change who you become. Pick any athlete throughout history. If they didn't believe that they could actually win, do you think that they would have won the race? No. Why do you think that pep talks in football locker rooms occur? It's all about getting in your head. Okay, you can do this. You're going to do this. You got this. This is yours. It's yours for the taking. Why would you not take this? Take it. Own it. Get it. Go get it. Get it! Why does that work? It does work. Why does it work? You start to believe what is spoken over you. So if you're speaking life over yourself, you're going to believe that eventually. You're going to start, you know what? I can do this. There was a time in my life where I thought I wasn't capable of doing something. And once I was confronted about that lie that I had believed since I was a kid, and I confronted that lie, you know what? You're right. I am capable of XYZ. So, I did something about it. And I'm going to have to work at it. It's something that I have to, all right, I'll just tell you. Let me tell you. I'll just tell you. When I was a kid, I didn't think I was smart enough to do anything. I didn't think I was smart enough to, do things that educated people do and whatever that. And I believed the lie that I was not intelligent enough or capable start in January. I'm only sharing this with you to make a point, please. It's not about me. It's about what you speak over yourself, what you believe about yourself, makes a world of difference of the outcome, of where you're going to go, who you become. For example, I am a son, I am a daughter of the Almighty God. I am paid for. My sin has been paid for. I belong to Him. These are lies that the devil would like to counter with. You can see that, right? Here's another one. My circumstances do not determine who He is. I am not going to allow my circumstances to determine my theology. In other words, I'm not going to allow my circumstances to determine who He is. He is who the Word says that He is. He is almighty. He's a good God. He loves me. He cares for me. He wants the best for me. The best for me. He wants the best for you. That's what a good father does. The second point. What you believe determines how you steward. Stewardship exposes what you believe. Your actions flow from what you believe. And the decisions that you make each day reveal exactly what it is that you believe. And how you steward what you have reveals what you believe. If you don't believe that God is good, you won't pay attention to what He's already given you to steward. And as a result, you will not steward it well. That servant did not believe that you're a harsh man. He didn't believe that he was good. You're a harsh man. But when you believe that God is good, then you'll steward with that which He has given you, and you will steward it well. Belief produces action, and disbelief produces excuses. When you believe what the Word says, when you believe it, you do it. Put another way, when you trust God, you will look for ways to produce fruit from what He's already put in your hand. If you trust God, you'll produce fruit with what He's already put in your hand. Well, I don't have anything. Yes, you do. I could sit down with every single one of you. You always have something in your hand. For example, I don't have anything. Watch this. I'm so poor. I don't have anything. I don't have any money. I can't do it. I don't have anything. So what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a mechanic. Oh, so you can fix cars? Yeah. Well, can you do that well? Yeah. Okay, that's what's in your hand. Steward it well. I know a kid who goes to rock concerts. I don't know much more about him, but I know he's an authority on knowing what to do, what to bring, where to go, how to sit, where to sit at rock concerts. Steward it. I encouraged him. I had to use these words, of course, because he doesn't know. But steward it well. Look at you. Look at you. Rock concerts? Anything that you have in your hand, steward it well. Produce fruit from what God has given you. I don't have it. Stop making excuses. Just stop. See, I love you, so I can tell you this, okay? Stop making excuses. Well, I can't. You're never going to make it up that mountain. I can't. Remember I think I can. I think I can. I think I think I can. Come on. You remember this. You're all old enough to know this book. Okay. I think I can. I think I can. I knew I could. 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 If you start up that mountain with I can't. You're not gonna. did with what he gave you. He's looking at what is currently in your hand right now. Not, well, someday I'm going to become and then I'll be able. No. What are you doing with what God has put in your hand right now? What will you do with what is in your hand? It doesn't mean necessarily that you need to train somebody else to become. It means that you do it with excellence. Now, for example, if you stood me next to a horse right now, I would be a little intimidated. Why? I don't hang out with horses. But if you took Pear and you stood him next to a horse, he's like, it's nothing. Why? He hangs out with horses all the time. That's what he does. If you told me to change the horse's shoe, I would go to Walmart, look for some Nikes or something. I don't know anything. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. For real.
I hope not.
No. But I don't know the smallest thing about changing horseshoes. I just learned last week that you gotta take the horseshoe and heat it up to 1,000 degrees. Did you know that? And put it on the horse, and it's 1,000 degrees. I didn't know that. How do I do? Because I talked to Pear. Why? Because he's a horse expert. He knows what he's doing. And he does it with excellence. How do I know he does it with excellence? Because he has a reputation for doing things with excellence. How do you know that what you are, what you have, that you are excellent with what you do? What is the reputation that you have with what is in your hand? Don't just think about what you believe, demonstrate it. Show God that you trust him by stewarding what he has put in your hand. Did you know that when you do it with excellence, it's an act of worship? With whatever is in your hand, when you do it with excellence, it's an act of worship. You're pleasing the Lord. He's like, that's my boy right there. Now I'm going to change gears just a little bit. This is my favorite part. My third point. Bold stewardship is what the Father is after. Risk exposes where you stand. The moment you step out, it shows that you trust the Father. And risk strips away the appearances and reveals what's really inside, what you're really made of. Picture with me for a moment. When does a father become proud? When his 8-year-old is in Little League and he walks with his bat that's half at the weight of him, and he's got this bat and he's dragging or he carries it to the plate to pitch for the pitch. When does the father become proud? Is it when he only when he knocks out that home run out of the park, or when he even hits a double, or maybe he gets the first base? Is that when he becomes proud? No. This is when he becomes proud. Regardless of whether he hits the ball or not, he swings. That's when the father's smile comes down his face. It's my boy right there. He took the risk. Whether he was successful in hitting the ball or not is irrelevant. The proud father says, my son took the risk. My son did something with what he had. That's my boy. Proud of you, son. See, success is not in the outcome. Success is in the doing. I know this is not at all what the world teaches. The world teaches you got to get to the top, you got to accomplish
luxurious, you gotta have 5 cars, you gotta have 3 houses and a lake house or something, whatever. Then you're successful. Thank God that he does not look at success that way. What are you doing with what is in your hand? Now here's a big one, because this is where I'm going to lose some of you. I hope not, but just hear me out. If risk is not involved, God is not in it. What? See, it's in God's nature to take risk. How do you know? But God proves his own love for this, that while we were yet still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. In other words, he sent his son to die on our behalf in the hope that some might come to Christ. Wow, that's a big risk. God is about risk. God is all about risk. You need to start thinking that way and remind yourself, you know what? God is about risk. And avoiding risk is an excuse. It's not wisdom. Risk is important. Risk is part of our everyday life. You risked coming to church this morning. You could have gotten hit by an accident or something. You took a risk. You see what I'm saying? We risk everything we do there's risk that is involved. Then there's risk that, well, I don't know. You have to use wisdom, but don't use wisdom as an excuse not to take risk. Right. Wisdom will involve risk. Wisdom involves risk. You need to ask yourself, Father, I want to be wise in my decision. Is risk involved in my decision? If there's no risk, then what? What are you gaining? Avoiding risk is a way of covering up the refusal to trust God and what he has put in your hand. Success is not measured by how things turn out. Success is measured by whether we have the courage to take the risk with what we have. Doing something with it. Where do I get this from? The foolish servant, he didn't do anything with what was given to him, and he was called evil and lazy. Jesus told this parable. He didn't take any risk, and as a result, he was called evil and lazy. So based on this, we know the heart of the Father is to take risk with stewarding something. Anything. Let's go back to that parable. If the third servant who said, I took my money, I invested it in this, and it fell apart, and the stock market just went to puts, and I lost everything. This is what the Father would have said. All right! Well done, my good and faithful servant. You did something with what I had given you. You see, it's not your responsibility for the fruit to occur. Does a farmer plant a seed? Does he know that crop is going to come up? No. Sometimes it could be a drought. You don't know. But you did something with it. Producing fruit requires that you do something with what has been given to you. People will do almost anything to avoid risk. But that's not what the Father is looking for. He wants us to step out and take risks with what he has given us and do something, anything. Do something. Do something. proud by doing something with what he's given you. And he honors, the Father honors bold stewardship. Bold stewardship always involves risk, and it pleases the Father to no end. It puts a smile on his face. That's my boy. Look at that. Look at that. The one who hides what God has given him is really putting his lack of trust in God out in full display for all to see. Don't hide it. Don't hide the talent. Don't hide what's in your hand. Do something with it. Anything. Something. Ask God for wisdom on how to make it fruitful. He'll give it. What's he going to say? No, I gave it to you, but I don't want you to consult me. No, that's not who God is. Let me show you something. Come here. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Like I mentioned, the farmer who plants the seed, it is God who produces the crop, and your job is to steward what God has put in your hand. God makes your bold stewardship fruitful. Again, invite him. Father, teach me, show me how to. I want to partner with you on this decision. I have what you've given me and I want to use it. Show me how to use this. Show me how to be fruitful with this. And if you don't hear anything, do something. And eventually he'll tell you. Don't wait. It says in the text here, immediately the first servant took and he did something with it. Quote, immediately. He didn't wait. See what I can do. I'll get around to it. No. Immediately he did something with it. I encourage you to stop playing it safe. The Father's not asking for you to find a safe space. Following Jesus requires taking bold risks, and it demonstrates that you trust him implicitly when you do. Your life should be a life of risk, of taking risks. I'm not saying foolish risks.
No.
Don't hear me. I'm not saying that. Don't be an idiot. I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to sell my house to buy a cow. So why do you? No, don't. Ask the Lord. Invite him. Partner with him. But don't sit on what he's given you. That's my point. Don't sit on what he's given you. And everybody's been given something. Don't sit on it. Use it. Take the risk of doing something with it. That's what he expects of you, because he's given it to you. He didn't give it to you just to do nothing with it. He gave it to you to use, whatever it is. Following Jesus requires taking bold risks. It demonstrates that you trust him implicitly. And I ask you, what has he given you to steward? Are you partnering with the Father and taking risks with him? As I close, I want to share and ask, I'm going to tell you, again, the Father's not looking for good intentions. He's not looking for good intentions or safe living. He's looking for people who will take him at his word, to steward what he's placed in your hand, and each of us has been given something, and to steward it, and to steward it well. And when you do, you're demonstrating that you trust him. Again, success is measured in whether you take risks with what he has given you and what he's placed in your hand. And when you steward with boldness, when you partner with him, when you seek his wisdom, his counsel, don't wait, do, and he'll speak to you, he'll show you. That pleases the Father to no end. And when you do that, he'll trust you with even more. I want to become whatever, a musician. I want to be, okay. I want to become an expert pianist. I want to be an expert pianist. Well, you start with Mary Had a Little Lamb, okay? You take what God has given you, the desire and your fingers. Mary had a little lamb. It sounds simple, and it is simple. But you do it 5 times, and you become an expert. Mary had a little lamb. Then you end up playing something else. Maybe you do something with, now you got a chord or something going on. I'm not a musician. I don't know. You start small and you grow. You grow from where you are. You see, when you do this, it changes the way you think. If you grasp what I'm saying this morning and you apply it to one area in your life, you'll find yourself applying it to other areas in your life. And you will become a different new person. Somebody a year from now who is very different than the person that you are right now. So look back a year ago. Are you different? How different are you from where you were a year ago? If you're the same person, you need to take an assessment and ask yourself, what am I doing with what God has put in my hand? What has He put in my hand? Ask Him that. Maybe you have no idea. I don't know what He's put in my hand. Ask Him, Father, what is it that you have put in my hand? Here's some ideas. I'm going out there because you may not see, but I'm trying to stir the pot. I'm trying to get you to see some of the things. I am the best pizza maker there is on the planet. Or I am a good cook. Or I am a good vacuumer. I vacuum really well. I don't know. I'm a good cleaner. Use it. I'm a good mechanic. Horse guy. I don't know the name of the farrier. I'm a farrier. I'm a construction worker. I'm a singer, a musician, a chiropractor, a doctor, homemaker, a teacher. You name it. I have this talent. I have the ability to run. Well, find some kids you can run with and disciple. Anything, do it with excellence, whatever it is. I make pizza. Okay, make it really well. I'm a great chef. I'm good at this. Or maybe I'm not really so good at this yet, but I really want to be, and I know I have it in my hand. It's not even developed yet. I've got these 10 fingers, and I really want to become a musician, and I want to be a pianist. Okay, we'll start with Mary Had a Little Lamb. Play it well, play it good. Show me. I'll be like, yeah, look at you, Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'll make a big deal of it. You know I will.
Oh, we know you will.
I encourage you to do that because you'll grow from it. Start small. Don't be ashamed with the small beginnings. Start small. Start where you are. Start where you are with what you have in your hand. If you don't know what you have in your hand, ask the Lord. I'm going to just stand with me. Stand with me this morning. We're going to pray together. Stand with me this morning. We're going to continue to pray here. Father, I ask that you show everybody here what is in their hand.
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah.
Put your hands up to the Lord like this, like you're receiving from the Lord like this. Father, I ask that you, as everybody looks at their hand right now, I ask you to show them what is in their hand right now. Show them what it is. Birth in them show them the life that whatever is in their hand can become. The talent that you have given each of us, that one, whatever it is that we're looking at in our hand, we want to produce fruit with it, and we want it to grow, and we want to do something with what you've given us. We choose to speak life over ourselves. We choose to look at what you put in our hand and say, you know what, I can do this. I can do this because you've given it to me. I have nothing else to go on, but the fact that you've put this in my hand tells me that it's possible. And I'm going to believe you for what I perceive to be impossible. I believe you. So I ask, Father, that you show me how I can do this with excellence. I want to partner with you, and I want to do it with excellence. I want to grow, and may we recognize